another Saturday, which means it's time for only one thing. Buckle up your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, and hold on tight. The Matt Malone Patreon League is about to begin! It started out as something small, a group of racers crashing into walls. Each week they would have some fun. Get ready for the bump and run. But now it's something more. Hold on to your butts. This is what you asked for. Get ready to go nuts. It's the Matt Malone Patreon League. Get on track and join the big leagues. Prove yourself against the best. There's no time to stop, no time to rest. It's the Matt Malone Patreon League. We're out of the racing bush leagues. Can you beat Malone himself? Get ready to brace yourself. In May it all began for the first time. Had some incidents that could be classified as war crime. But it's never over until it's over. Still waiting for a rollover. What a way to pass the time. But make sure to hide your crimes. Are you ready for the next one? The league has just begun. It's the Matt Malone Patreon League. Get on track and join the big leagues. Prove yourself against the best. There's no time to stop, no time to rest. It's the Matt Malone Patreon League. We're out of the racing bush leagues. Can you beat Malone himself? Get ready to brace yourself. A full-time streamer and a league organizer, a hot dogger and a merchandiser, an asset tech hero and a race lab god. Nothing he can do can make you bored. Matt Malone has the best mustache we ever did see. From his concrete days, he finally broke free. It's the Matt Malone Patreon League. Get on track and join the big leagues. Prove yourself against the best. There's no time to stop, no time to rest. It's the Matt Malone Patreon League. We're out of the racing bush leagues. Can you beat Malone himself? Get ready to brace yourself. Are you ready? It's about to begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hot dogging, it's Matt Malone.
And we are green. Round 4 is a go. And a poor start there for Matty Quill. A fantastic start for Extra Pickles. Gets onto P at number 2. Around the outside of Richard Dempsey. He's going to stay for the ride. And Extra Pickles dies at the very last moment to go up the inside. He's on the grass. There's contact. There's contact. And around goes Extra Pickles. They recover. But Matty Quill goes through to P number 2. Aulatufu on the outside. There's more contact. And Aulatufu is around at the final turn. What a shame for him. And there's more contact. Mr. Anders is around. What happened to Mr. Anders here out of the final turn? And it looked like that may have been contact from number 20. He went around. Iron Tequila gets past into the White Husky, falling down on the 130, but then Iron Tequila's gone up in the 32, around the, through the S's in the exit turn number 3, he's going to rejoin, but he is going to be behind into the White Husky, and most likely with a slowdown too. Richard Dempsey in the slipstream, moves to the left, and makes that move look extreme. extremely easy. As it looks like Extra Pickles is off the circuit at turn number 1. And he is going to have to recover after such a great start. Started in P4, moved into P number 2. He's down to P13. Chris is somewhere behind that racing sign. It looks like he has gone off the track. There he is. Oh! My word, almost corrected by Sean Sims there. The move in the background, Showtime up the inside of Eric Jägel into turn number 10, and Showtime makes it stick, but can he hold it on the exit? Yes, he can, and here comes Aula Tupu. Tried to take advantage of Jägel being a bit slow, and he does. Aula Tupu moves into 15th, and I think that's Eric Jägel driving slowly as well as a spin for the 84. Showtime's around, and Jägel's onto the grass. Coming along the not straight, back straight into turn number 9, and the back marker just moves to the left, unsighted. As he moves to the left-hand side of Tony Jabroni, he's going to go for the outside through turn number 6. Can Aula Tupu make it work? No, he can't. He's going to back behind, but that's a spin in front of him, and he avoids contact. But he's fallen down to 3rd and possibly 4th here, because Wyatt Way's looking for the same move that Richard Dempsey did. He moves to the left-hand side, and he gets the overtake, but can he confirm it on the brakes here into turn 10A? He's got the overlap, he's got his car ahead, but he loses the rear end! Wyatt Way goes around, and Matty Will recovers. And it looks like another one heading up towards turn number 7 on the brakes. Nope, nothing there, nothing doing, but on the exit, losing the rear end, and a huge hit with the rear left quarter panel for the slipstream along the not straight back straight. Or is he going to try and make the move here? He looks a little bit to the inside, a slight lock-up, he runs deep, that's on the grass, and a big mistake there. It'll form an Aula Tupu standard, and he drops down to 1.5 seconds back as Mr. Anders has received a black flag. He's gonna, what a slight wobble, and then a big hit from the 03 machine behind. This is Matt Malone, a driver we have not looked at since lap number 1. He pulled his lead immediately with the contact and craziness that was going on behind. He comes out of turn 10B, heads into turn 11. Matt Malone is going to be the first double winner of the season. He crosses the line in P number 1. This is round 5 of the Matt Malone Patron League, live from the virtual Road America circuit in Wisconsin. 4 rounds have been completed with another 7 lined up, including today's race. In just a few more minutes, we will see the large field of drivers heading out into the 20-minute open qualifying session to place their cars as high up the grid as they can, with poles now being won by Slugger, Richard Dempsey, Matty Quill and Matt Malone. Will we see a 5th different pole sitter today? With 4 different pole sitters, we only see 3 different race winners. Richard Dempsey and Matty Quill taking 1 each, with Matt Malone taking 2 wins so far this season. Qualifying is definitely making the difference this season, keeping those near the front further away from the calamities behind. So let's have a look at the events that we still have to come this season. With no race next week, we are back on June the 14th for round 6 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the NASCAR trucks. Laps limiting qualifying, and the race makes it unique as the only oval and the only non-timed event of the season. Then, finally, the Mazda MX-5 will head onto the virtual Virginia International Raceway, a combination that Matt loves. So will he be extending his championship lead in round 7? Another different style of racing coming up on June 28th with the BWB Tools at Summit Point. I've heard that damage will be off for that event, so expect a lot of car contact. The American muscles are out on July 5th, and what a way to celebrate the 4th of July the day before, knowing that the Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Corvette GT3 will be fighting it out around Watkins Glen. One last week's break before we head to Portland International Raceway in the Formula 4s, and finishing the season at Daytona in the GT3s on July 26th. A fantastic season believe we are almost halfway through it already. If you've missed any of the previous races, all race replays are available on the Behind-Wheel YouTube channel, and if you don't have enough time for them, all extended highlight videos are also available to watch. The Matt Malone Patreon League continues here today at Road America in the Ligier P3. If you want to get behind the virtual wheel and go head-to-head against our racers, then head across to Matt Malone's Patreon and subscribe today. This series is open to all of Malone's patrons, so we see a wide spread of skill level out on track each week. From those who have been racing on the service for more than a decade, and those who have jumped on this year, our drivers are all sharing the same piece of virtual tarmac to attain those Matt Malone prizes at the end of the season. So let's see who's sitting three in the championship standings after the first 4 rounds. The 2 drop weeks have already been applied. That means Mr. Consistency Slugger won't find himself at the top of the standings just yet. But it is the man himself, Matt Malone, leading the championship with 2 races counted, and both of those being a race win. Dempsey finds himself just behind in P2, and Matty Grill currently holding himself in 3rd, just ahead of Mr. Consistency. 4 races and 4 top 5s for Slugger is a great way to start the season, not needing any drop weeks so far. Unlike Dempsey, who has missed 2 races already, Matt Malone, who has had a terrible race at Mosport, and Matty Grill with only 2 top 5s so far. Bad luck seems to surround the man from Canada. Ao Latufu sits in P5 with 38 points to his name. Only, though, 12 points from a championship lead. The drop weeks are going to make those standings interesting to follow each week. Nick Bowen sits in 6th, followed by Extra Pickles just a point behind. Checkers and Stingray Graham tie on 28 points in 8th. And Turbo Snail rounds out the top 10 of the standings after 4 rounds. Road America, situated nearby Elkhart Lake, opening in 1950, the 4.04 mile circuit is the longest track we have visited so far this season. 14 turns and fantastic views of the circuit. The drivers will be taking their Ligier P3s out on track momentarily. At 6 years old, the Ligier JS P320s dominated the LMP3 class in the Imster Sports Car Championship when it first released. The 460 horsepower machine is unforgiving on the brakes, and we could see a number of spin-outs in the many heavy braking zones here at Road America. Are you buckled in and ready for this one? The 5th round of the Matt Malone Patreon League is here. That's right, we are getting ready for the 5th of 11 rounds of season number 1 of the Matt Malone Patreon League, and somehow Matt Malone finds himself on top of those standings. Let's get those standings back up just again so we can have a look properly at what the stats tell us. Obviously, 2 drop races so far. Matt Malone in the 4 races has had 2 wins. He had a top, I believe he had a top, yes, he's had 3 top 5s. So at Laguna, it wasn't a win for him, but he did finish inside the top 5. A good recovery drive, actually, for him at Laguna Seca. Starting down in the bottom end of the top 20, if I'm remembering correctly. But at Mosport, in the Radicals, of course, he had to go to the pit lane about 3 or 4 times. He was racking up the incidents at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. So that in itself, that's 100% going to be a drop race for him. He is going to have to forget about that one. Now, what's going to be interesting is after this race, we're no longer split 50-50 with drop weeks. We are going to start to see those drop weeks coming into effect where this could be some drop weeks for our drivers. I'm trying to figure out how this stream together thing works. I think we're getting it all together. Perfect. Okay. So Yes, so as I was saying, the drop weeks are going to come into effect quite interestingly as the weeks go on now, because we've already got the drop week that's going to be applied for Motorsport for Matt Malone, definitely. But if you look down the order towards Slugger, 4 races, 4 top 5s. Are we going to get a drop week there? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see any of those opening 4 races for Aulatufu be a drop week. For Slugger to be a drop week. However, this one might be. This one might be. Slugger's not feeling great at the moment. He is going to be racing tonight, but it might not be what he fully needs to be able to continue showing that consistency. It's going to be interesting, the points. Obviously, we have a week break next week for the Nürburgring 24 hours. So we're going to have a little bit of time to analyse the standings after the opening 5 rounds. After this one, it's only 6 more races, though. So races, you really are going to have to step it up a notch, especially like Richard Dempsey, who's missed 2 races already. That's 2 drop weeks gone. Inside the top 10, Nick Bowen, Extra Pickles and Checkers have already missed 1 race, which means that you've already got 1 drop week coming into effect there. So this is going to be extremely interesting to keep an eye on those standings as the season goes on. Some really interesting stats though, Slugger being so consistent. Looking in 5th though, only 12 points off of Matt Malone is Aulatufu. Now if we think to the last 2 races, Motorsport, Aulatufu had no front end on his Radical for most of that race. He somehow clawed back an okay result. Then you look, last week in the Porsches, Aulatufu taken out on the opening lap. A storming recovery drive to get back into the top 10. Are they going to be his drop weeks already used up? When you've got the consistency of Slugger, you'd think that those poor races are going to already be his drop week. Can Aulatufu get away from the unluckiness that has been coming his way and try to get his way up the standings as the race goes on? Only 3 drivers inside the top 10, not from the United States of America. Aulatufu, Canadian, Richard Dempsey, Matty Gwill leading the fight for the prizes. Of course, even though Matt Malone's first in the standings, the prizes will go to the top 3, not including Malone. So that will be Dempsey, Gwill and Slugger are currently in the spots for those prizes. So this is going to be an interesting championship as it stands. And again, let's just quickly have a peek back at that calendar, because we've got interesting races coming up. Break next week, but then the NASCAR trucks coming up, round 6. An oval race. That's going to be a massive spanner in the works for those drivers that are at the top at the moment, I believe. I mean, we could still see the consistency of Slugger, of Richard Dempsey, of Matt Malone, but could it be someone else's opportunity to get up there and get through? That's going to be a really good chance for them. Continuing looking down through the field then, you've got the VW Beetles at Summit Point Raceway for round number 8. That's going to be absolute pandemonium. We thought that the Radicals were crazy. We thought that the Porsches were crazy. That's going to be even more crazy. Damage turned off as far as I'm aware as well. So that's going to be extremely interesting to witness. You've then got, the F4s at Portland, I think, are going to have some good fights going there. And then the Daytona GT3s to round it off. I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait to see the rest of this season. I think it is going to be very interesting watching the top of the field and how it's going to change. Those 2 drop weeks, I would love for them to be applied at the end. However, having them applied as the season goes, and they were applied after round 3, so they from round 3 onwards, we've been looking at those drop week standings. Actually, it's really interesting now to try and work out how the standings are going to fluctuate and change as the season goes along. As we are just waiting for the session to come up, and then qualifying will be open. So if you are racing tonight, very much so, good luck. This is going to be a fun one. The Ligier P3s around Road America. Like I say, those heavy braking points. Overtakes are it means you've got slipstream, you're going to have those overtaking opportunities. However, get too heavy on the brakes. If you just stamp just a little bit too much on your brake pedal, the whole rear end is going to decide it wants to be in front of the car. So this is going to be an absolutely fantastic race from the slipstream, from those braking points, and who can take control of this car. Who is going to put it on top in qualifying? Because in the first 4 rounds so far, we've had 4 different pole sitters, of course. Nobody has taken pole more than once yet. Being at Okayama, we had Slugger taking that pole position. At Laguna, we had Richard Dempsey. At Mosport, it was Matty Grill. At Road Atlanta, it was Matt Malone. Who's it going to be here at Road America? Is it going to be a 5th different driver fighting their way to the front of the field, possibly getting themselves in the hope of a championship contention? Because with those drop weeks, this is going to be a very important start to the season to see how, if you've had those bad races, if you've not been here, that's absolutely fine. 2 of those weeks not going to count. So, like I say, Richard Dempsey missing 2 weeks. His drop weeks are done now. If he misses any more, if he has a bad race, well, he's already used up his drop weeks, which means that drivers like Slugger, and I would even dare to say, even with his couple of bad races, Aula Tufu, they could take advantage in the later part of the season where Richard Dempsey has a poor race and he doesn't have a drop week available. They still have drop week available. Of course, this isn't like they choose, oh, I don't want that week to count. It is, of course, counted by the worst result. Now, if you don't turn up, that is classified as your worst result. You did not start in that race. That will not count. So even if in the next race you turn up and you finish 30th, well, that's 30th. Well, that's better than not turning up. So that's why it's really important to be here every single week as much as you can, because later in the season, those drop weeks could really come into effect. Thinking, of the VW Beetles at Summit Point. That's going to be a crazy race. Thinking of even the Oval, I would say, is going to be a crazy one, I believe, as we have just got into the session. We will get everything loaded up for you, and then we will get across visually so you guys can see the session ongoing. But I have found out an issue with the broadcast system. If you load it before you load into the session information does not show. So I've got to get everything. But you can just hear the cars already. Let me load everything in so you guys can see what is going on out on track. The session has only just begun, so we are only a few minutes into it. We also have available for you a live timing, which will be going live as soon as this works. I have tried to get it to work. The task was cancelled. Excellent. Client error apparently. I did get this working earlier. It has decided not to work now. We will get the last few bits coming up. I do apologise. This is the only issue with doing everything by yourself. You do have to deal with literally everything by yourself. Right, let's get across to our main screen there. There we are in the session. And it looks like we do have live timing. So we do head over to the live timing page. And hopefully that will work for you as well. And let's get things started then. So, how are we doing? So far, no time. We'll just be waiting for those times to get started as soon as possible. We're watching around goes the number 14 machine. That was Aula Tufu. That's not a great way to start, if we're being totally honest, is it? That is not the best way to start, as I do apologise, you are going to get my second events, as I need to get those over here. And we will get ourselves set up then so we can watch. We're looking at Mecharm now. Track sound's not loud enough, thank you for letting me know. I will turn that up, I appreciate that. Do let me know as we watch Mecharm. It's coming now through turn number 7 and up towards turn number 8. all. Eventually we will get them correct and everything will be good. As we go down into turn number 1 for Kyle Ditch. He is currently in 6th position, 1.4 seconds back. Yeah, this is a new name for me as well. So he heads into turn number 3 and along to the moraine sweep down up to that first heavy bleed. I do believe we're going to lose quite a lot of cars in spins here at turn number 5 and probably turn number 12, Canada Corner, where we lost out at Tufu already. Mr. Anders goes into 10th on the timing screen at the moment, but it is Matty Will still out top, Slugger in P2, so it looks like that's gravel already put down on the circuit. That's around the exit of turn 6 into turn 7. That is going to make that part of the track a little bit slippery now. They're going to want to try and shift that gravel as quickly as they can so they can run as fast as they can. A nice little slide there from Kyle Ditch as he heads into the carousel. I believe Matt Malone here is about to start his lap, and we are going to arrive on board with him, and hopefully the audio levels are okay, but I doubt they will be. As we head through turn number 14 and up towards the timing line, on board with the number 17 of Matt Malone. Let's see how he gets going here. He's got a 2:01.9 to beat. As he heads up towards turn 1, he's going to stick to the left-hand side, breaks about the 200-metre cones, gets onto the curving on the inside, pushes to the outside. Already gravel there as well. Going to make it slightly slippery, but he gets on his power nicely into turn number 3. Again, pushing it to the outside of the circuit using the optimum racing line and the optimum speed, carrying as much as he can through. More names going in towards the top 5 there. Bob's Jelly in second, Exton in the third, but they're almost a second behind Matty Will. Matty Will is super fast here. Into the braking zone at turn 5 goes Matt Malone. As I said, it's a heavy braking zone. We might lose the rear end quite a bit there if we're not lucky. Malone though gets out of turn 6. It looks like most of the gravel there has been cleared already. As we head now once again on quite a heavy braking zone, we might see some spins through turn 8. Definitely will see cars running wide, and you can just see how much gravel is being kicked up on turn 8. The cars have just run deep. Doesn't look like some settled Malone too much though, and he is going to head under the mission banner here and up towards turn number 11 through the kick. This is a deadly corner in multi-class. Will it be okay in a single class P3 race? I'm hoping so. Up towards Canada Corner now on turn 12. Again heavy on the brakes, not trying to lose the rear end. Gets it nicely done. Onto the throttle then through turn 13, the right-hander, 13A, the left-hander, gets to the curving, hits the throttle just a little bit, perfect line, up towards turn 14. We can see some overtaking opportunities there if people are brave enough, but where will Matt Malone go as he comes to cross the line in the number 17 machine? Will it be a good lap for his first one? And Matt Malone goes into P8, 1.6 seconds of a Matty Will. What Richard Dempsey now, being a driver to contend Matty Will. I say contend, it's still 0.3 of a second there. Bob's Jelly 0.4. The drivers are finding their footing, their speed, but the gravel is certainly not going to be helping them in getting their foot down. Only 18 cars have currently got lap times in, and I'm looking at, looks like just under 30 cars in the race. Over 30 actually, yeah, definitely just over 30 cars in the race. We've got the top 30 on the left, and it looks like we've got 31 drivers in the race today. Richard Dempsey in the slipstream here of the, it looks like that's the 4th position of Bob's Jenny, is it? Oh, whoever it was, they've just run off. It was Stingray Graham. Stingray Graham there, run off the track. That's going to slow Dempsey down a little bit, but Slugger has moved into second, only just ahead of Richard Dempsey here. Here is Slugger. He's got the slow Dempsey in front. Will he be able to improve on his lap? Now, as we head up towards the braking zone of turn number 5. Slugger's going to hope that nobody gets in his way. Because Slugger's not feeling too well today. So the fact that he's able to get it in second position already is proving well for him. 20 drivers have got lap times in. Drivers who expect to see some good lap times on the board. I mean, you've got Crobby there. You've got Diabetes. You've got Right Fix. Some names that we haven't seen through the series so far. Greg Fonek there as well, just not doing and no lap times for them on the board just yet. Look how much gravel there is on the circuit. Down the exit of turn number 8. That's got to be making them uncomfortable. Slugger running around though. He's got a 116 so far at this point on the lap. Like I say, that delta is incorrect and I do apologise. I'll try to fix that for the next one. As we're coming, we've got less than 7 minutes on the clock now. The drivers allow that time to get them in. We've just got a few more on the board there. Onto the heavy braking zone of turn number 12. That's the rear end gone. Driver in front of him had gone around, and that's Slugger getting out of the way of other drivers as well. A nice move indeed for him to just spin that car around. A driver who has improved as well, Matt Malone, 2 tenths off of Matty Brill now. Matty Brill did have a second over the rest of the field. That is really close now. The drivers finding their footing. This is Tony Cody. He is 7th position at the moment. Still going past this 202.8. Minus 202 flat. So Tony Gibboni goes into second position by 300ths of a second. The number 12 machine goes onto the board on the front row of the grid. Some gravel being kicked up, but a great improvement for him. Here's Mecham. We watched him today beginning qualifying. He's in 9th position right now, 1 second off of Matty Brill. It looked like he had to just make an overtake there, so that is obviously going to slow him down a little bit on this lap as he comes up to the braking zone on turn number 12, Canada corner. I mean, when you've got a driver right on your rear like that, even in qualifying, that must be putting pressure on you. Are you going to outbrake yourself? Are you going to run a little bit wide? Are you focusing on your racing? Are you focusing on your racing, or are you focusing on your rear view mirror? That is going to be the question here. As I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my chat here, I do apologise because you can all see my chat for the moment because I need to hit OK, got it, and I couldn't on my screen. Right, we're back. 5 minutes left on the clock here. Where on earth has my sessions gone? My session events have disappeared. Where's my session events? My session events is actually closed. And I don't know how that is happening. Oh, there it is. Right, session events. That's what I need. My word, everything going very, very wrong at this point in time. Right, 4 minutes left on the clock. We head down onto the braking zone here for Mecham. Can he improve on his 8th position? Can Slugger improve is a question as well. He's in 3rd. Tony Gibboni has come out of absolutely nowhere in this qualifying session. Could Tony Gibboni improve just a tiny little bit and become our 5th different pole sitter in 5 races? It's going to be interesting. 4 minutes left on the clock here as we head up towards turn number 12 with Slugger. Is this going to be a fast lap? No, it's not. It's a 2:51, so it's a slow out lap for him. It looks like Tony Gibboni has just started a lap. What can Gibboni do here with his lap time? Like I said, he came out of absolutely nowhere in this one. Aulatufu, bad luck in the opening rounds. He sits 11th right now. As around goes Tony Gibboni, not what he wants with 3 minutes left on the clock. He's got to get it going. He's not. Is he going to come straight back out though? Once they get onto that last lap, they can do another lap. They don't have to worry about Extra Pickles! Extra Pickles goes to pole position with 3 minutes left. Where has Extra Pickles come from? That is absolutely phenomenal lap time at 2:01.704. He may have got slipstream there. He may have got slipstream. But that is absolutely fantastic. Extra Pickles may actually be our fifth and pole sitter in 5 races. Where has he come from? That's absolutely amazing. Out on top. Matty Quill is out though as well. Now wanting to reclaim his pole position in this session. Is he going to be able to do it? 2 minutes on the clock. Drivers who are heading now around their lap. You've got 9 seconds to get onto a new one. Is going to now be impossible if drivers start their laps now. Then they are going to be starting their last lap. Matty Quill will be coming up to his last lap. Will this be enough to get himself in to P number 1 again? It's Extra Pickles, Matty Quill, Tony Jabroni, Slugger and Richard Dempsey in your top 5 at the moment. And there are 2 names in there that I did not expect. And one of them's in provisional pole. Will Matty Quill improve? He comes through the final turn here. Turn number 14. So much gravel on the racing line. Will this be better than a 2:01.704? It's a 2:01.538. Matty Quill returns to provisional pole position. With a minute on the clock, Matty Quill is back on top. Trying to see it, Slugger's out. Here he goes. He's going to be trying to move. It's Extra Pickles! Extra Pickles! He goes back to provisional pole by, what is that, 100th of a second. That is absolutely crazy. Right click moves into 14th position here. Most drivers with a lap time on the board. Greg, Chronic, Covey, Gabriel Mazzotti, Diabetes, and Travis Williams without lap times. But will Matty Quill go any further and get himself onto this pole position? 20 seconds left in qualifying. Drivers have just enough time to get onto their one more lap here. Matty Quill heads up to the carousel into turn number 9. Can he find that tiny, minuscule amount? If the delta at the bottom's correct, you could say yes, and now you could say no. But that delta, I don't know what's going on with it. We're heading up now to turn number 12. Will Matty Quill return onto pole position for this race, or will we see our 5th different pole sitter in 5 races? Matty Quill heads through turn number 12, up to the chain of 13 and 13A, and up to turn 14. He gets onto the brakes, he swings out wide, he tucks it into the apex. He's slightly over the apex with all 4 tyres. He heads up now to the timing line. Can he beat it? 2:01.555. He comes across the line. Here it is. It's a 2:01.597. It's not enough. Extra Pickles has done it. I don't think anyone else is on a time quick enough to beat that. I believe that Extra Pickles really improves. Matty Quill is only 9 thousandths of a second behind. Will there be an improvement for Extra Pickles? Not this lap. The gap between first and second position is 9 thousandths of a second. That is absolutely crazy. Last 2 minutes on the clock here. Is anyone still out on a flying lap? It looks like a few drivers are. This is Casket Man. He sits in the 16th position. He's only a 10th off of getting to 4th. Top 9 drivers, a 7/10 split. But then it's a 6/10 gap between Bob's Jenny in 9th and in 10th. Across the line goes Casket Man. It's not a valid lap for him. So that will be a checkered and a done. I believe lap traffic is also on an invalid lap. Minty the White Husky off the circuit there. We are going to call it the end of qualifying there. And what an absolutely hectic qualifying that was indeed. In the first 5 races of the season, we have 5 different pole sitters. It's Extra Pickles on pole position for today's race. It's Matty Gwill, 9 thousandths of a second behind in P2. Richard Dempsey will start in the second row in third, followed by Tony Jabroni. Slugger will start in fifth, followed by Matt Malone. So you've got Richard Dempsey, Matt Malone and Matty Gwill up there in the top 6. Slugger's there as well. Mr. Consistency starting in the top 5. Will he finish in the top 5 for a 5th week in a row? Meckham will start in 7th, followed by Drux TV. Bob's Jelly is in 9th, followed by Sean Sims. Aulatufu, not what he wants. It's an 11th position start, but we know how good he is at coming back. Will he be doing that in the race today? Stingray Graham will start from 12th, followed by Brandon Wimler. Right Click in 14th. Kyle Ditch will be in 15th. Casket Man in 16th. Following that is Lap Traffic, Turbo Snail, Mr. Enders and Fishy rounding out your top 20 there. Robert Goddard in 21st, followed by the Hernster, Mintu the White Husky, Scrubberton, Brendan Lobb, Richard Burton, Neil Trotter, Jimmy Montana, Powski, Diabetes Wolf, Provi, Gabriel Mazzotti and Travis Williams is your starting grid for today's race. And talking about your starting grid, let's get ourselves you in there. If you want to see the live timing, it is pinned in the chat so you can follow along with the live timing there. It looks like the pace truck is out on track. It's a rolling start, which means I did not have to rush through the grid like I just did. In the 20 minutes then, with the lap times, it is expected to be 10 laps of racing. It's only 10 laps, but it is going to be absolutely crazy with that. As we will see how this goes anyway with the race, as we will get ourselves viewing the front of the field here. They are going to be preparing themselves to get started on this race. Like I said, it is a rolling start. Hopefully only 1 lap behind the pace car this week, if we remember all the way back to round number 1 at Okayama. 2 pace laps there, and I'm almost certain it was Dempsey in the pace truck out front. But here we go. The drivers are away for the start of their formation lap here at Road America. 20 minutes on the clock. Let's remind you of the front of the grid then, particularly because of the championship standings. Extra Pickles, 5th man in 5 races to take pole position, which means we've still not got a repeat pole sitter this season. Matty Gwill, 3rd in the championship, sits 2nd on the grid, followed by Richard Dempsey, 3rd on the grid, 2nd in the championship. Tony Jabroni in 4th. Slugger in 5th. Mr. Consistency finished top 5 in every race so far. Can he make it 5 for 5? And it's Matt Malone looking to dislodge him from that position straight away. 6th on the grid, 1st in the championship. Aulatufu, another big name in the championship here, starting in P11. They're your main big names in the top 5. They're the ones that very possibly could move into a very high position in this race. I would say those 5 actually could be the top 5 at the end of this one, but will it? Because this race is going to be quite hectic. A lot of slipstream along the straights, heavy braking zones, which these cars have not come and around turn number 5, the leading pack comes here. Following that pace truck, 20 minutes will be on the clock, 10 laps that will take us to get around. Who is going to come out on top at the end of this one? With the drop weeks applied, Matt Malone is technically yet to lose a race, because he's dropped the 2 races he didn't win. Which means in the 4 races so far, he has taken 2 race victories at the 2 counted race weekends. Can he make it 3 victories in the 2 counted weekends and move to 75 points in the championship? Matty Gwill, Richard Dempsey are going to be trying their hardest to do something about that. Extra Pickles had a great start last week, in Road Atlanta, moved into P number 2 early doors, but fell down the order after an audacious move into the chicane, and he just kept on falling down the order, unfortunately. As we head up towards the kink now, look at that field of Ligier JS P320s. What a beautiful, beautiful view that is. If you want to keep up with the live timing, do check out the live timing in the chat. And if you want to catch up on any of the previous races, head over to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel. All of the live streams have been uploaded, and so have all of the extended highlights. If you don't have an hour to watch the stream, just go on. Races are about 10 minutes long, and you can catch up on the highlights. Right, we are getting ourselves ready here. Look at all the lights on as they head up into Canada corner. Now the two will be hoping that he doesn't spin there like he did in qualifying. We ride on board here with P number 1, Extra Pickles. As they head up now through the final turn. That pace car is going to dive off, and we will get started on our 20 minutes of racing. We're going to see that timer go in a moment, but when are our drivers going to accelerate? They haven't just yet. Trundling along still. At the front is Extra Pickles.
Green flag.
And now he puts his foot down, waiting until the very last moment that he possibly could. And a much better start around the outside for Matty Quill, who looks like he could move himself into the lead of the race at turn number 1. But Extra Pickles has got the inside. We've got it. It's Matty Quill behind, side by side there. With the blue car, I believe that is Richard Dempsey on the inside here, heading up towards turn number 3. Matty Quill and Richard Dempsey is still side by side. Dempsey's on the inside, a little bit of a wobble there from Tony Giovanni. Struggle, Matt Malone making their way through nice and thickly. Matty Quill is on the inside, the left-hand side, the right-hand side of the camera now. In the lights out towards the car, Richard Dempsey in the blue car has got the overlap at the moment. Will he hold the position though as they go onto the braking zone? Yes, he does. Matt Malone breaks a little bit late but holds it, and it looks like again another little bit of a slide from Tony Giovanni there, not feeling comfortable on corner exit. He's fallen down the order, but right now Richard Dempsey has held on to second position and moved his way past Matt Malone. Southers in fourth, Matt Malone in fifth as Bob Jelly gets overtaken by Tony Giovanni. And Giovanni cuts to the right hand side. Bob Jelly was off the circuit onto the braking zone here. Bob turn number 8, and that's going to be off the circuit for Tony Giovanni. He's going to have to get back on, and he's lost the position. So Bob Jelly shorts him and Drucks TV there. Not great for him. And side by side for the Hernster and Robert Goddard here off the circuit. That is Brandon Rimbler, but still side by side here with Hernster and Goddard. Hernster keeps it ahead of Goddard up towards the king. This is your race lead then. It's Extra Pickles leading Richard Dempsey right now at the front of your field as they go through Canada corner. The gap very, very close indeed. As down the order goes Bob Jelly. He's spun a Canada corner on that heavy braking zone, and so has Drucks TV. Also around, unfortunately for him, as there's a big gaggle of cars in the mid-pack here. This is about 20th position so far. Back to the lead though, because this is where the slipstream's going to play in effect for Richard Dempsey. Is he going to be able to do anything? You see that gap about 2.5 tenths per second, half second back behind him. He moves to the right-hand side to show Extra Pickles is there. Nothing he can do at the moment. And Extra Pickles holds on to Richard Dempsey, but this race is far from over if he's going to be able to do anything. Matt Malone behind is going to go up the inside of Slugger there. Look how much gravel is being picked up ahead. But Matt Malone moves into 4th position. This is what the championship wants, not what Mr. Pickles is. But he is still within the top 5. He could make it top 5, but he's not backing out of the top yet. You can see Slugger sitting right on the rear end, and he does back out a little bit later braking from Matt Malone there, but he keeps it on the circuit, just about both of them going a little bit over the gravel there as Matty Quill catches up to Richard Dempsey. Dempsey is still on the rear end here, and that's a Nickelback flag for Bishop. That is a shame. Not the start of the race that he wanted. He wasn't going to race in this one. He's decided to get back behind the wheel, as that is an equal flag for Right Click as well. Where is he? He's this black car on the way aside, is he? The because none of those look like they need recall. Oh, that 171 definitely needs me. You can tell that suspension damage for sure along the uphill climb to turn number 6. This is Richard Dempsey still on the rear end of extra pickle. So as they come through the right hand turn and up to Canada corner, Dempsey looks to the right hand side, looks to the inside of extra pickles, gets on the brake, trying to scare extra pickles into a mistake perhaps. Matty Quill behind is going to ride on board with Matty Quill, chasing down Richard Dempsey and extra pickles. Matt Malone about a second behind him. Douglas dropped about a second behind that, but the top 5 have pulled away already. 4 of those top 5 response we expect. Albert Duke has moved away into 8. Could he move away into this cockpit here? Carl Ditch and Neil Trotter have got equal flags and Mike Fleck with a black flag now. So a shame for them. Across the line they go. 15 minutes about to tick down onto the clock, but it's actually because leading the way. Richard Dempsey lose to the inside, but again not anything with that. Unfortunately, this is the battle for the West Lead. Richard Dempsey moves to the right hand side here. He's got the inside of extra pickles up towards turn number 3. It doesn't look like there's contact, but Matty Quill follows him through. And now Matty Quill is going to try and get back to extra pickles. Matt Malone has got a perfect view of this from behind. There are the top 3 in front of him as he is side by side with extra pickles on the left hand side. Matty Quill on the right hand side. Richard Dempsey leading the way onto the brakes. They're a lot slower. Matt Malone just goes right in there. The order goes Dempsey, Quill, extra pickles and Malone. Dempsey goes defensive on the inside there. And it looks like this is now definitely a 4-car fight for the lead. Can Slugger catch up? He's only 1.765, but it's Dempsey leading the way. He's already won a race so far this season. Quill has already won a race this season. Extra Pickles has not started on pole. Can he get it back up there? It doesn't look like it because Matt Malone tucks to his inside. Extra Pickles has to concede that spot. And Matt Malone is now into 3rd position. The top 3 in the race are the top 3 in the standings. But it's Richard Dempsey, Matty Quill, Matt Malone in a slightly different order than the championship standings. Can Extra Pickles do anything here up towards Canada corner? He moves to the right hand side. He's going to go back for the inside. Brakes early though. And make sure he doesn't lose the rear end of that car. Didn't quite want to stick his nose in there. Still got 14 minutes on the clock, so I can see why he doesn't. He's trying to get past Carl Ditch in the pit lane. A couple of drivers going down pit lane with their various meatball flags and black flag issues there. Moves up to 29th in his recovery out of pit lane. Cross line is from Matt Malone. Richard Dempsey has got about a 6-10 gap. Matty Quill though has only got about 2 tenths. Matt Malone behind. A couple of drivers out of pit lane there, and that is Sean Sims making his way past Slugger, but they contact, and he's gone around into the wall. I believe that was a racing incident from that look, but it looked like there was just a little bit of contact, and that is a meatball flag for Sean Sims into the wall. Let's see if we can get a replay of this. Look here, so this is Sean Sims. That is Slugger ahead. Across the racing line they go. And it is side by side. That is wheels in the grass for Slugger. Car coming out pit lane, and it's just moved across there for Sean Sims. Definitely Sean Sims putting himself into that pit manoeuvre, unfortunately for him, and he is down pit lane as well, out of this race, which is a shame for him. We are back live though, as we watch Matty Quill P2, and Slugger did lose quite a bit of time with that contact as well, and he is 7 seconds back. So that's a real shame for Slugger, because I would say that was, looking at that incident, an incident you put entirely on Sean Sims. There was nothing and nowhere that Slugger could have gone for that one. He was given the racing room, he should have been given the racing room, and there was contact. So I would put that down to contact with Sean Sims taking himself out. Slugger there with Slugger. It's down pit lane. Why has he done that? Slugger, what has happened here for him? Has he gone around? That is a real shame. Slugger missed the consistency. He looks like he's out race. What's happening? Watching is coming up towards Canada corner. Has he got around at Canada corner after the contact in the early part of the lap? Is there an issue? Under braking. He's wide. He's into the gravel and he's into the tyre wall. And he just abandoned straight away. I'm not sure why he's done that, but Matt Malone right behind Matty Quill here for P2. And this could be a move here. The next Vickers has dropped behind, but Matt Malone wants a third race victory here. Across the timing line they go, up towards turn number 1. They move to the right side of the circuit. Matty Quill moves back to the racing line. Will Matt Malone go through? No, he won't. Of course he won't. He's going to wait until the Moraine sweep. He's going to get the slipstream after turn number 3, heading down to the braking zone at turn number 5. Onto the brakes once more, and he gets really close to the rear end there of Matty Quill. Richard Dempsey is going to be trying his hardest to pull away, but that slipstream is gone. Will Matt Malone choose to go left or right? A little bit of grass with Richard Dempsey. Wobbles. Matt Malone not going either direction, or is he? Is he going to move to the inside? No, he stays behind, possibly trying to make sure they don't lose Dempsey ahead. Quite a bit of gravel being kicked up by Dempsey there, but this is the 3-car fight for the lead right now. But it's not the only fight going on. What we've got on past Pawski, P11 and P12 there. Pawski looks to the inside, possibly just trying to scare Goddard into a mistake. Doesn't happen, and nothing doing there, unfortunately. Back to the lead fight though, and it's Richard Dempsey leading. Matty Quill leading Matt Malone. Matt Malone on a slightly wider line through here. Actually, do you know what? I think Matty Quill's just on a tighter line than the other two. Underneath the mission board there and into the king. Where can they make their move? The gap actually now closer between Richard Dempsey and Matty Quill. Matt Malone up towards Canada corner now. This is the 3-car battle for the race lead. As Turbo Snow has moved his way up the order for P24. And Slugger is back out on track and he's up to 25th position, but this is definitely going to be a race to forget for him and a drop week playing into effect for sure. Up towards the line here. And it is Matty Quill kicking up the gravel just a little bit, but they're still just staying in order right now. With Richard Dempsey, Matty Quill and Matt Malone. Grass being kicked up by Matty Quill there. As they come along through the right-hander. Again, is Matt Malone going to stick behind, or is he going to decide to take that move this time? Back marker up ahead could make this interesting. That is extra pickles behind as well. 2 seconds back as Matty Quill goes a wider line onto the entrance, but Matt Malone does not go for the move at all. He still stays behind, but could this be a move on the exit? Almost contact. Matt Malone, you can see the brake lights on there. With Matty Quill swerved to the left, swerved to the right. Matt Malone had to slam on his brakes, but look how close it is between these 3 drivers here, battling it out for P1 in this race. Onto the brakes for turn number 8. And through the carousel, it is Richard Dempsey still leading the way on Matty Quill and Matt Malone. Will Matt Malone finally decide to make a move? He could have the opportunity up towards Canada corner. Drivers just remaining in a file at the moment. And it looks like there is for my live timing a little bit further down. Onto the brakes once more. There was definitely a car off ahead through Canada corner. It looks like they are no longer there in when the 3 leaders arrive though. Matty Quill just a few tenths of a second behind Richard Dempsey. Matt Malone just a couple of tenths of a second behind Matty Quill. And they come across the line they're going to be. They're just staying in the order. They don't want to do anything. Through the right-hand side. Are they going to move back to the left? Are we going to see an overtake opportunity as we're not going to see an overtaking opportunity at all? There they are up to turn number 1. What a time for us not to see anything. They all stay in line. Matt Malone looks to the right-hand side of Matty Quill and he can't make that move there. and they are still in a line here. Richard Dempsey moves to the left, trying to break the toe on Matty Quill, who doesn't follow, but he does follow through the Moraine sweep, getting behind. Will Richard Dempsey stick it on the racing line? This does Matty Quill again, moving wide here. Matt Malone, nothing he can do just yet. Through turn number 5. Gravel being kicked up. Dempsey goes defensive again, but Matty Quill has got overlap on the outside. It's not going to turn into anything just there, but a switchback could work. It's not going to. He has to back out of it. Matt Malone, though, could have his chance now up towards turn number 8 on the braking zone. He can't. He stays behind again. We're coming up to the last quarter of this race. Last 5 minutes. Look how much gravel is on the track down at turn 8. Through the carousel. Matt Malone is on the wider line. Could he get an exit here that places him in an overtaking opportunity? No, he gets the grass. That's going to slow him down a little bit, but he is right on the back of Matty Quill. Matty Quill has dropped a few tenths to Richard Dempsey. Could be an overtaking opportunity into turn number 12. The back marker moves out of the way sensibly up towards Canada Corner. Will Matt Malone go for the overtake? No, he doesn't. He stays there, but oh my word, it is just like a piece of paper between them. So close. And up to the final turn. 5 minutes left on the clock here. Richard Dempsey leading Matty Quill, leading Matt Malone, and the three of them have been this close for the last 5-6 minutes between the two here. 4 seconds down to extra pickles right now. Al Latufu has worked his way in to P number 6. As the live timing shows Matty Quill behind Matt Malone, but we can see that is not the case here. Matty Quill is definitely ahead of Matt Malone through turn number 3. If the live timing's saying it, surely they should swap their way around here. No, Matty Quill, there we go on the live timing, swaps back over. Richard Dempsey moves to the left-hand side once more. But Matty Quill weaving a little bit here, but sticks to the right-hand side. Matt Malone to the inside, under braking. Will he get the job done? Yes, he can. Can he keep it up towards turn number 6, though? He defends it, and Matt Malone is P number 2. Do you know what? I've realised we're in a replay. That whole time. Richard Dempsey leads the way. I'm going to see myself out here as Richard Dempsey leads the way on Matty Quill. On Matt Malone. Brilliant stuff there. As we go across the line with 4 minutes left to go. We're now watching a live battle. That's why it showed Matt Malone ahead, because he was ahead. And it's swapped back over Matty Quill now. This is why I need to fix the replay issue. I'm working on it, guys. Kyle Ditch moves his way into 21st position. What I was going to say, though, is Al Latufu is in P6, which is great news for him. He's only 1 position away from that top 5, and he hasn't had the most consistent of runs. So if he's able to get himself back into the top 5, he's only 1.5 seconds behind Meckham. That'd be great for him, especially as Mr. Consistency of Slugger is, well, he's just moved to 21st as Richard Burton goes out, so he's in 21st position. I believe it's the top 20 that get points. So Slugger right now still outside of points at the moment. Richard Dempsey has this nice little bit of a gap here to Matty Quill, which is good for Matt Malone, because Matty Quill is going to be getting just a little bit less slipstream, and Matt Malone is going to be getting that little bit more slipstream, which could help him along the back straight through Kettle Bottoms and into Canada Corner. But right now it's turn number 8. We've got the carousel to go. With 2.5 minutes left on the clock, I'm going to say that next lap is going to be white flag, which means Matt Malone is going to have to get moving now if he wants to get into P number 2. All of these 3 race leaders, these 3 drivers right now, have won a race this season. Richard Dempsey with 1, Matty Quill with 1, Matt Malone with 2. Will it be a second win for Richard Dempsey or Matty Quill? Or can Matt Malone come through and take a 3rd victory into Canada Corner? Heavy on the brakes, Matt Malone closing up to Matty Quill just a little bit there. Gravel ahead, back marker off and back on. It looks like that might be Scrubberchom there, who will be needing to jump out of the way, and he does, and he allows the 3 leaders through nicely, and it doesn't look like that's impacted their lines at all, but Matty Quill still running ever so slightly wide through that final turn. Up towards the timing line then, it's 1 minute and 37 o'clock, which means this is a white flag lap now. It is the final lap of the race with just 1:30 on the clock. Will Matt Malone be able to make his way through? Will Richard Dempsey be able to hold the lead? Or will Matty Will be able to do something here? He's going to be attacking and defending at the same time, but he's got to turn it all into attacking if he wants to win here. Consistency is key though, so is he just going to try and hold on to P number 2? Matt Malone on the grass, ever so lightly there. That's going to compromise his run to 3A and up to the Moraine sweep of turn 4. It's going to be that braking zone. Will Matt Malone go for the move up the inside like he did a few laps ago? He looks for it. It looks like he's going to try, but no, he backs out of it. He's going to go a super wide line into turn number 5 to try and get the exit. He runs on the grass. He had the speed, but he had nowhere to go through turn number 8 there. Matty Quill holds on to P2. Matt Malone on the grass yet again. Richard Dempsey leading the way still here as they head up towards turn number 8 onto the brakes. It's still just a hair between them. Only one of them can take this. Matt Malone on the grass once more into the carousel with the different racing lines. Matty Quill taking the tight line. Matt Malone taking the wider line. Richard Dempsey starting wide, turning in tight. And up to the final turn. 15 seconds left on the clock here as we go up towards Canada corner. Richard Dempsey has got a nice overlap. Matt Malone can't move up the inside though. This is going to be the closest result we have had all season long as we go through turn 13A and onto turn 14. Matt looks to the inside to try and take the move. He can't do it. Can he do it? On the exit though, Richard Dempsey is going to win here at Road America in the Ligier P3. Matty Quill is going to take third and Matt Malone is going to... Matty Quill is going to take second and Matt Malone is going to take third. The Hernster and Tony Giabroni both with black flags in 14th and 15th position, which means they're going to lose their positions in this race. Slugger is in 23rd. He's still out on the racing track. He is. He's going to benefit from those, as it looks like Aula Tufu made his way to 5th position. Yes, Aula Tufu finished in 5th position, so he's recovered for a top 5 somehow. Mr. Anderson 7th, Stingray Graham 8th, Pawski crossing the line in 9th, followed by Robert Goddard in 10th there. As continued to rot, Tony Giabroni backs out as it looks like the Hearns is going to cross the line, but obviously he does have that black flag, so I believe that will demote him 1 lap in the final race result. As Probby and Slugger come through. Slugger, he's in 22nd. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes home here. Is he going to score any points at all? Or is he going to be done with this race completely? 2 black flags ahead of him makes me think he could take 20th here, but for some reason we're showing his 20th position. So we will have to wait until the race is official before we can really say what the result may be. But it looks like Slugger's crossed the line in 23rd. But what will it be at the end? Travis Williams also with a black flag coming across the line here. Yeah, just waiting for this race to become official, and then we can fully decide what results we've got from our race. Just waiting for that timer to count all the way down so we can get our race results here. But what an amazing race that was, as it looks like we do have our official race results. Everything has changed around. So our race results then, following that race. Richard Dempsey wins after 10 laps of racing. I like how it says 11 laps. It was 10 laps of racing. Richard Dempsey wins. Matty Quill takes second and Matt Malone in 3rd position. That was an extremely close finish between those 3. Extra Pickles, after qualifying pole, finished in 4th. Not too bad. Aula Tufu recovered from an 11th position start to finish 5th. Meckham finishes 6th, followed by Mr. Anders. Stingray Graham finishes in 8th, followed by Pawski and Robert Goddard. Then it's Bob's Jelly in 11th, followed by Lap Traffic. Casket Man, Richard Burton, Drux TV, Diabetes Wolf, Brendan Lobb, Minty the White Husky, Kyle Ditch, and the Hernster round out the top 20. Then it was followed by Provi and Slugger. No points for Slugger, unfortunately for him, in 22nd. Tony Jabroni, Turbo Snail, and Sean Sims rounds out the drivers that finished on the lead lap. A lap down was Gabriel Mazzotti in 26th, Neil Trotter in 27th, and Fishy in 28th. Brandon Wimbler in 29th, and Right Click in 30th. And Travis Williams in 31st. Scrubbertron and Jimmy Tontana finishing a couple of laps down, and Greg Gorillaphonic finishing 4 laps down. What an amazing race that was then, and we are going to jump across to have a little look at what the race results were after that one, because it is going to be interesting actually to see how the drop weeks are playing into effect here. Obviously, I do believe we're going to see possibly Richard Dempsey take the lead in the championship now. I am interested to see how this one's going to play out. Let's us have a look at the championship standings then. Following round number 5, Richard Dempsey is our championship leader with 71 points. It's Matt Malone in second with 68 points. Matty Gwill in third with 64 points. So the top 3, a little bit of a change there, and Richard Dempsey leads the way. It's Slugger in 4th with 59 points, and Aula Tufu in 5th with 54. Following the rest of the field then, well, I'll only go through the top 10 because it's really hard to do it without the nicknames. I'm just going to do the top 10 here. So Extra Pickles is in 6th position with 46 points. Riley Graham, who I believe has a nickname of something Graham, I've forgotten what it was, but he's in 7th with 41 points. 8th position is a driver I do not know the nickname for. It's Daniel Garabadon with 38 points. And then Nick Bowen and Joshua Lloyd are tied in 9th position with 31 points. It's going to be interesting to see the entire field with their nicknames, so we can talk you through them. Of course, though, for the rest of the season then, we are done here at round number 5 Road America, but we will be back in 2 weeks' time for the NASCAR trucks on June 14th around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Heading up in June also, we've got the Global Mazdas at VIR and the VW Beetles at Summit Point. And to round off the season in July, we've got the Ford Mustang and the Chevrolet Corvettes at Watkins Glen, the FIA Formula 4s at Portland, and the GT3s at Daytona. I hope you have had a fantastic race, because I certainly have, as I show you the wrong thing there. That was a fantastic one. Really good battle for the lead there. Like I said, it's a week off next week, so do catch us in 2 weeks' time. The extended highlight videos for this round should be available on Wednesday on the Beehive Bill YouTube channel. So if you want to relive the broadcast, it will be up tonight. And if you want to relive any of the broadcasts so far this season, head over to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel. I will see you all in the next one. I hope you have a fantastic couple of weeks, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Well, the engines fire up on a Saturday night. Virtual rubbers burning, everything feels right. It's not about fame, no sponsors in sight. Just the Matt Malone League holding on tight. He's the mustache master, chaos king supreme. Matt Malone's a driver at the heart of the team. From Miatas to trucks, it's a wild dream. You never know what's next, it's a racing meme. Oh, we drive, we dive, we laugh and scream. Every week's a twist. the Malone League. We live the stream. Behind Bill calls the play-by-play with a buzz in his voice and a flair display. It's a lot of fun, it's a little bit hectic. Malone League love, full throttle electric. No pit strategy could plan this mess, but that's what makes it the very best. We ain't pros, but we pass the test, 'cause we race with heart, forget the rest.